Dani Gasparini, and welcome to this segment of Penn Voice. I am so very excited today to welcome Dan Mulholland, who is the new police chief for the city of Redwood City. Dan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So at Woodside Wildcats, class of '81, we're so excited to have you now as our police chief in the city of Redwood City.
Thank you. I'm excited as well.
So really, local boy, now started with the Redwood City Police Department, is now the chief of police. I'm sure that you are sort of every young man or girl's dream to be police chief of their town someday. So thanks for being such a great inspiration to all of us in the community. So let's jump right in. So you have been with the city of Redwood City and their public safety department for quite some time now.
Correct.
Tell us about, where you started and how you ended up here.
Absolutely. Well, I've literally worked my entire adult life for the city of Redwood City. I started just prior to my 20th birthday in 1985 as a community service officer. And that's really where I learned the ins and outs of what it was like to be in public safety. I started in a non-sworn capacity, and that was while I was going to community college and then on to University of California, Berkeley. So at that same time that I was studying, I was also pursuing that career that I always wanted to do, and that would be in law enforcement. After I graduated from Cal in '87, I came back. I was still on the books as a community service officer, and that's when I applied for a police officer position that was open at the time. And that really was the start of my sworn law enforcement career. For about 11 years, I worked my way through the organization, working a variety of different assignments to include training, and I also worked as a firearms instructor and a field training officer. I worked for a period of time in investigations, and also various acting assignments as an acting sergeant responsible for a patrol team.
So when you started, let me just stop you right there for 1 second. When you started all this, did you say, as a young boy, did you say to yourself, someday I'd love to be the chief of police?
Absolutely. I was asked, well, I always wanted to be a police officer, and where that career took me remained to be determined. I figure everybody's got a plan in life, and I was along for the ride to figure out what it was that was in the plans for me. But I always wanted to be in law enforcement, and I was asked early on, shortly after my appointment to the position, at what point did I know growing up that this was what I wanted to do? And I remembered back to a traffic safety demonstration that was done at the time at Benjamin Franklin Elementary School in Redwood City. Is now Adelante School now. But a traffic safety demonstration was done out there by an officer priest, and they brought the patrol car out on the campus, and he activated the lights and siren, and he sped the patrol car across the campus and then skidded to show the stopping distance of the patrol car. And I was mesmerized to see this patrol car out on the school campus and driving fast with the lights on. I knew from that point that's what I wanted to do, and that was probably 1974, 1975, somewhere in that period. And from that point on, I always knew that I wanted to be not just a police officer, but a police officer for the city of Redwood City. So after I got hired, I moved through the ranks in the organization, spent about 11 years as a patrol officer, about 12 years as a sergeant, and the last 7 years were spent in a captain's position prior to my appointment to the chief of police in February this year.
Well, you've certainly seen the city change and evolve. And you've seen so many different economies sort of take hold in the city of Redwood City, where we went through rough times and good times. So you certainly have a great history and background of what we've evolved to today in Redwood City. But let's go to now. You are sitting as the new police chief of the city of Redwood City. What are some of the issues that are unique to you and what you've seen in law enforcement that are sort of your concerns and or some things that you want to bring to the light or to the front for Redwood City?
Absolutely. Well, anytime an organization goes through a change at the department head level, it can be unsettling for the organization. There's a funny saying about law enforcement: cops don't like change and they don't like the way things are. But But part of what my goal is early on, if I set about 12 to 18-month goals short term, to move right in and to be that stabilizing entity for the organization. I've been through 4 different chiefs of police. I've been through 4 different city managers. So I understand how that can be unsettling to the rank and file of the organization, not knowing who's coming in.
Right.
There are options that are available to the city manager when she makes her selection, and people are wondering how that is going to pan out and ultimately in her selection. And that causes concern through various levels of the organization. People want to understand who the chief of police is going to be and what that means for
Right.
them. So because I bring in that more than 3-decade employment with the city and specifically with the police department, I can bring that stabilizing entity into the organization that can calm people, help them to understand that I'm really the same person that I came through the door
Right.
30 years prior. I understand how the organization works. I understand the city structure, the hierarchy. I understand the geographics. I understand who the stakeholders are in the community. I'm not having to learn that all over again.
Right.
It's really now picking up where we currently are and now moving forward. So stability is one of the first things that I want to bring to the organization now that the appointment has been formally made, and that's something that's taking place as we speak. Another component that I want to focus on also is preparing ourselves for the future. There's some concerns about what the budget cycle will be moving forward, what kind of changes will be coming down from Washington, how that will impact us if there's a loss of grant funding, for example, or what kind of physical challenges that there will be for us. So looking at how we can better prepare ourselves as an organization
Right.
for what's taking place. We have the legalization of adult marijuana usage, how that is going to impact us. So those are things that we look at, and also look at the change within the organization, how we can be better prepared for that next rotation of leadership when others in the organization decide to move on. So how do we grow our own internal leaders, prepare them to assume the roles that I just moved up through the organization. So that is something else that we are focusing on now. Within the first 10 days of my appointment into the position, we made a sergeant selection within the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Just earlier, or towards the end of last week, we extended conditional offers of employment to 3 lateral police officers to bring them into the organization, provide that further stability, and prepare our organization for what lies ahead with changes within the department. And then also we have 3 young police officer trainees that are at the police academy now, and we're getting ready to receive them once they graduate from the academy, integrate them into our training program with the lateral police officers that will be coming in once they finish the background process and are ready to start. So a lot of changes that are taking place. Those were held for a period of time while the appointment at the chief's level was being
Right.
made, but now that's accomplished, we can now start moving forward
Right.
with some of those changes.
Well, and I imagine for the community, that sense of sustainability and the fact that you have been with the organization for so long and know this community. You know, you were raised in Redwood City as well, not to mention just your public safety service. So you have a great knowledge of what issues we are facing as a community, as a county, as a region, a state, and it's very complicated times now from the federal level passed down to the state level when we're talking about immigration issues and when we're talking about sanctuary cities, mm-hmm. and when we're talking about school shootings. And we wanted to get in a little bit about Florida and even the shooting that just happened recently in Sacramento, how we are protecting ourselves and how you are actually training your law enforcement officers as well within those two different realms, school safety as well as community safety.
Absolutely. Well, our public safety service delivery is truly a partnership with the community that we serve. So we can't do the job that we do without having a very solid relationship with our community. So we try every day to build relationships, bolster the relationships that we have, and look for new ways to connect with our community in the future. We are about 2 weeks into a Spanish language citizens police academy. Mm-hmm. We have a Coffee with Cops event that is coming up on August 12th, where we get to network with the community at an informal level at a local coffee shop. We're starting an English language citizens police academy in the fall. So those are all networking opportunities that we use to connect with the community, to build trust, to be transparent. We invite people into our own police building, train them up in what we do as an organization, provide them that insight into what we do as a police department so they can better understand what the jobs is that we perform every day. So that's a big component of that, building that trust with the community. What we're doing at the police department level to provide safety to our schools, quite some time ago, we initiated our Adopt a School program. It was part of a much larger program called the Enhanced School Safety Plan, where we conduct daily visits to our students at school, get that interaction on a daily basis with the students, with the staff, with parents. They see us out there at the schools. They become accustomed to us. They know who we are. That was then built upon with the implementation of training programs for any type of active school shooter event taking place at the school, how we would respond to that, how we would communicate with the schools. So we got the tactical component down, we had the relationship side of down. Now we have the tactical component. If our school has an event that is an active shooter event and our officers respond out, we understand how we work in that environment. The school does as well. And now we've taken it a step further with a juvenile threat assessment team where we have a core group of specially trained personnel at the police department that can conduct various levels of threat assessments. We work in partnership with the school. We work in partnership with other county resources. And we brought that training to the school level to where the school staff, if they have concerns, can conduct that frontline level 1 threat assessment and reach out to a student in crisis and help evaluate what needs they have. If there is a need for greater intervention, that can be then brought up to a level 2 where our law enforcement personnel, mental health personnel are involved, school officials are involved, could be probation, it could be representatives from the district attorney's office, the county office of education, and that's where we can all have a play in helping to better understand what the students' needs are, assessing the level of concern that is there. So the issues that we saw in Florida where there was some concern about what can we do as an organization and what can be done. We've already established what some of those courses of action can be with that early level of intervention, assessment, and integration of not just school staff, but also support staff found at much higher levels within the county.
So what are some of the other issues then facing the city of Redwood City that you think will also require as much attention as even school safety?
Well, homelessness is a big source of concern by members of our community. And I think it's understood that it's not always a crime. Some of the behavior that's exhibited by those that are homeless could be criminal in nature. But the reality is this is not a problem that we're going to arrest ourselves out of. We need to partner, and we do partner, with a number of different both municipal entities and community organizations to help better serve that segment of our population that is in need of assistance. For example, on the municipal side, we partner with representatives from the fire department and public works. So we have a law enforcement component, a fire component, and a public works component. But then our representatives then work with members of faith-based organization or mental health organizations within the county, or transitional housing resources, or members of our Parks, Rec, and Community Services that can help find alternative housing sources or basic health needs or basic life necessities, whether it's medication or clothing or food. So we all partner together to try to solve that problem together as a community. It's not any one segment of our group working together. It's all of us working together. And we've seen great results. And by building that trust with that segment of our population that needs those services, we can help better serve them because they become accustomed to knowing who we are and how we can better help them. We have specially trained officers on our different shifts that are homeless outreach officers. We also have officers, probably about 75% of our organization has received crisis intervention training. So it goes much more beyond just going out and arresting somebody for being drunk in public, for example.
Right.
It's really trying to get at the root of the problem, finding out what we can do to better serve them and get them into a position where there can be long-term support beyond living in the streets or beyond placing them in an environment where they can get that long-term sustainable support that they
Right.
need to become more productive in society and can better tend to their own needs that they have.
Public safety goes well beyond sort of the solving crimes and bank robberies, and it's almost being your own social workers within the community, and obviously partnering with so many agencies inside and outside of the city, whether it's government agencies or nonprofit agencies, school agencies, etc. So we congratulate you for this new position. We're so excited that we have our own grown within police chief in the city of Redwood City. And thank you for bringing these really complex issues that we face today and how we're actually solving and resolving them. We appreciate that so very much.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Great. And I look forward to some more topics too on Penn Voice, and we'll see all of you next time.